All right, guys. I think I fixed the problem. We are live. My name is Julien Stoutt. I'm a licensed personal trainer, licensed PE teacher, world record powerlifter. I am also a special education teacher, and I'm here to take the fear out of fitness so that you can be the best you. We're about to take off, and class is in session. Now, I know, I'm dressed up a little bit today, but it is what it is. I got to do what I got to do, and I didn't have time to change into something a little bit more comfortable. It is now 6:20 in the mountains. Over in the East Coast, it's 8:20. Over in the West Coast, it is 5:20. All right, so here is the deal. I'm going to get right into it because I don't want to waste any time, because I really want you guys to understand where I'm coming from. Because you see the title in the thumbnail, it is saying parents are the worst drug dealers, right? And I know y'all are looking at this sideways with a raised eyebrow. Y'all are trying to wonder what is he talking about? He a fool. He ignorant as all hell, right? But I would be remiss to point out that you're absolutely wrong. And why are you wrong? Well, let me explain to you why you're wrong. Because here's the deal. Here's why we are wrong, where you are wrong. Now, we're not talking about parents who are the absolute worst. The absolute worst parent are the ones that allow their child to float in the oceans of life, the rivers of life, rudderless, oarless, motorless, just nothing, just letting the current take them wherever the current takes them. If they drown, they drown. If they swim, they swim. If they crash land on a desert island, so be it. If they land in another continent, even better. If they get kidnapped by the locals, whatever, don't care. Those are the worst kind of parents. Those are the parents that should immediately lose their children and get locked up. Straight up. Right? So, but here's the deal. The parents that I'm talking about are the ones that you might relate to a little bit more. The parent who tends to teach their children to earn everything that they get. They try to teach their children some variation of respect, at least try to teach their children how to conduct themselves in public, to teach their children how to conduct themselves in school. But here's the deal. You parents are the absolute worst drug dealers on the planet. Now, I know y'all are going to be looking at me like, say what? Question mark? What? You was a fool. If you are wondering what I'm talking about right now, go ahead and do me a favor and put a 1 in the chat for me. Go ahead, put a 1 in the chat if you want to know what it is that I'm talking about. If I'm turning around and saying parents are the worst drug dealers, and I'm specifically talking about parents like you. So, put a 1 in the chat. Right now, we are in live chat right now. If you want to go in the live chat, go ahead and put that 1 in the live chat for me. If you are wondering. If you're not wondering, put a 2. Mo Dave, what is going on? So you want to know what I'm talking about, right? Do me a favor. In the chat, real quick, what are you watching this particular broadcast on right now? What are you watching on right now? Is it your computer? Is it a tablet? Is it your cell phone? Because The number one drug in the United States of America is not fentanyl. The number one drug in America is not cocaine. The number one drug in America is not marijuana. It is your cell phone. It is your cell phone. So for those of y'all who hand your kid at what?
The truth that is beyond late teens, you are doing your children a massive disservice. Now, I didn't say, well, let me put it like this, it's not a cell phone, it's a smartphone. It's the biggest drug on the planet right now. It's the biggest drug. It's not the deadliest, but it's the most used drug, more used than Tylenol. And what do I mean by that? Because I'm going to tell you why I came up on this. Because I have students right now. I have students right now that their parents are encouraging their children to book the no cell phone policy in the schools. So, if I let you know,
Let me turn that down.
what do I sound like? Do I sound better? Do I sound like I'm way far away? What's going on? Alright, is it sounding any better right now? I'm gonna do a mic check real quick. Hold on 1 second. Mic. Mic check. That sounds crazy. Check, 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 check. Well, that's wild. Oh man. How about now? Check. I actually literally checked this. This is wild. Give me 1 second.
Check. Check. Does that sound better? Check. Can you hear me right now? I know it's going to sound like an echo for a minute, but I just need to know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me right now? Check. Check one. Check. Here we go. Check one. Check. Check. There we go. Check. All right. So now, how about now? Does that sound better? Okay. Terribly sorry about that, folks. If I sound like a demon, let me know again, because we're having a little bit of technical issues that I'm gonna have to go and deal with here shortly. Yeah. So here's the deal. These cell phones are the number one problem because y'all are encouraging your kids to actually buck the system that is trying to protect them from being addicted to their cell phones. Now, one of the things that y'all don't think can happen is that you can get addicted to cell phones. Well, the truth is, you can. And I'm going to tell you why. Because every time your phone vibrates, every time your phone pings, every time you get that, it's a hit. You literally want to go to it and you want to pick it up and you want to grab it. You're almost trained to do it, right? And so I'm going to share my screen with you when we get to cell phone addiction. So here we go. Cell phone addiction is the obsessive use of a smartphone. The behavioral addiction is often dubbed nomophobia, the fear of being without a mobile device. People with a phone addiction may experience anxiety, agitation, and disorientation if they are unable to use their smartphone. So let's look into it. Let's read this real fast. As of 2024, there are over 6.8 billion smartphone users in the world, and within that population, 6.3% have a phone addiction. I'm going to do some math right quick. $6.8 billion. Times 0.01. So you're talking about 68 million people are addicted to their cell phones. 68 million people. If you cover the United States of America with that, that's literally a third. A little more than that, about a fourth. A little less than that, about a fourth of the United States gone to addiction of their cell phone. And you are handing these things over to your children on a day-to-day basis and encouraging them to avoid rules and regulations to allow them to come to school to learn. This is why I say y'all are the worst drug dealers, because y'all will be more willing to y'all demand that your kids have their cell phones so that they could be in constant communication with them, because you have an anxiety of foolishness that may or may not happen. And even if it does happen, we are not going to deny your children the ability to communicate with you in a situation like that. I'm not going to go into the namesake of it, but due to YouTube guidelines, I'm not going to go into that. But we have too many safety measures in place to allow that to actually happen now, if we are doing our jobs, that is. So with that being said, we do our jobs. At least 99.99% of us do our jobs. And what I'm saying is this. If there's an emergency and you need to get into contact with your child that the emergency is on your end, you are more than welcome to contact your school to let your child know that you're coming to get them. Or there's an emergency up front and you need to be ready to leave when they come get you. More than happy to do that for you. If there's a situation where you're leaving on short notice and you need to come get them, notify us. We're good to go. You have email. You could call the school directly, and you could get patched over to the school secretary, and they could turn around and relay a message to the teacher, such as myself, to let you guys know, to let your child know, hey, mom's coming to come get you. She'll be here in 5 minutes. Here you go. But no, y'all want instant access. Make sure you take the chicken out the freezer. Do not go outside unless that room is clean. That's the type of stuff that y'all are sending messages to your kids every single day, distracting them from learning, distracting them from the capability of understanding what's going on around them. Y'all talk about indoctrinating your kids. Y'all are the ones indoctrinating your kids to addiction. Not me. Trust me. If I want to, we ain't indoctrinating your kids, because if that was the case, they'd be quiet and they'd be ready to learn every single moment of every single day if we were indoctrinating your kids into some foolishness. I assure you we're not. But that's a whole nother story. And oh, by the way, do me a favor, huge favor. If you guys drive a car that is modeled after the year 2016, do me a huge favor. Can y'all stop doing this dumbass nonsense? Talking into your phone while you're driving. Y'all got a whole Bluetooth setup in your car. And y'all will sit there and be like, yeah, man, yeah, this is what we're doing tomorrow, right? Yo, I'm going to turn around. I'm going to go party. I'm going to go do some things. And I'm going to do this, that, the other. And yep. And you're driving with your hands on the phone. And I don't just see older people do this. I see everybody doing it, like as if you don't have a Bluetooth setup in your car. If you are driving a car past 2016, I assure you, there is a Bluetooth setup in your car. Please stop. Y'all look stupid. But I don't want nobody in on my conversation. You got it on speaker and you're talking like this. They can hear you anyway. That's number one. Literally, just do me a huge favor. And if you can't, if their car does not have a sound system that is Bluetooth capable, you bought a cell phone, right? I am 99% certain, a car radio is less expensive than a cell phone. Please do me that grand favor and just buy the Bluetooth to the car, so that way we ain't got to think about this nonsense, and we don't got to turn around and be like, yeah, buddy, what's going on? Yeah. Or worse, you drive with the other hand, you drive with this hand, and you're talking in the cell phone. I see it all the damn time. It is 2024, people. You should not be talking into a cell phone like that. You really shouldn't. Y'all look dumb. And then the worst thing, y'all be on the steering wheel. Y'all be like on top of the steering wheel driving and talking. Looking crazy. So, but get back to this drug addiction thing, right? Research published by Virgin Mobile discovered that those billions of smartphone users receive 427% more messages and notifications than they did a decade ago. They also send 278% more texts. The rise in phone use seems like a natural necessity for modern life. However, it can also cause concern and negative consequences. The heavy use of these devices has consumers questioning their cellular habits. According to Google Trends, since 2004, searches for cell phone addiction have been rising. It is designed to be addictive. I just said this a minute ago. Access to a smartphone can make life easier by making information accessible. Still, the convenience comes at a price. The devices are carefully designed to be hard to put down. Through its colors, sounds, and vibrations, the technology purposely keeps its users engaged. According to a former Google design ethicist, Tristan Harris, features like pull to refresh were inspired by slot machines and other casino games. Designers and engineers meticulously develop every aspect of the device to create fanatical users. Social media apps like TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, and sports betting apps, video watching sites like this here on YouTube, and even more mobile games are keeping smartphone users hooked to their device more and more. According to a 2024 survey, 50% of Americans spend 5 to 6 hours on their smartphone every day. Now, I'm going to question that a little bit because my phone turns around and says I'm using my cell phone 23 hours daily, meaning it's on the whole time. Yes, it is on and I'm using it, but I'm asleep. Trust me, I sleep. I got my AirPods in and I'm listening to rain and I'm listening to, you know, affirmative words, words of affirmation, things of that nature, right? And sometimes the news as I doze off into sleep. However, I guarantee you, I'm not on my phone for 23 hours. Now, I will admit, I get up, I check emails, I check messages, I send text messages, I check for messages on Instagram and Facebook. I even check my data on here on YouTube on how well did this broadcast do. I'm creating new thumbnail images. I'm creating new all kinds of stuff to feel and be more productive. I'm watching videos for work. I'm watching videos for my personal growth, as well as watching silly videos on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. But I assure you, I'm not merely just mindlessly drifting into the internet superhighway. After work and school obligations are completed, many people are instantly locking into their phone screen until the end of the day. That's true. And then repeating the pattern the next day. While using a phone and social media is not inherently bad, if it is causing you or someone you love to ignore responsibilities and real life relationships, it may be time to be concerned. Negative effects of phone addiction. These are things that I'm seeing in your children, by the way. Can't stay awake. It's only 11 o'clock in the morning. They've been in school for only 2.5 hours. And I see them thump, nodding off. Why? Fortnite, YouTube shorts, Instagram reels, Facebook reels, Call of Duty, NBA 2K, John Madden 2025, college football 25, all of that. But phone addiction may lead to sleep deficit, lower concentration, creativity blocks, aggravated ADD, anxiety, reduced cognition, meaning you are lowering your intelligence, stress, loneliness, insecurity, because you haven't received a text message from anybody. What's wrong with me? Doesn't anybody like me? Impaired relationships. No, it's both. It's definitely both. It's social media. Social media is a massive part of it, but it's also the phone, because every time you receive a text message, it's the phone. Every time you receive a notification for your apps, it's the phone. Now, I'm not talking about the social media apps either. I'm talking about, oh, I got a new sale coming up from Temu. I got a new sale coming up from Shein. I got Nike. Nike's telling me there's new Jordans releasing tomorrow. Oh, snap. Oh, shoot. My notifications for my subscription is coming up. I need to pay for that. Oh, my bank is telling me is reminding me to pay my bills. Oh, snap. My job is sending me emails from work. All of that is within the cell phone. as well as the social media pinging and the social media notifications on all of those things. So yes, it is social media. Social media is a major part of it. But that phone, man, oh man, that phone is a part of it. All right. Poor grades, psychological disorders. You want to see a kid spaz out real quick? Especially if you've been giving your child that phone since they were a baby. If you got kids that are anywhere between, so let me see, the iPhone is now officially 17 years old. If you have any kids 18 or older, slightly older, just 20, let's say 25 and under, take their cell phone and see what happens. Men and women, if you're above the age of 18 and you're in a significant relationship right now, do me a favor, grab your person's phone. Just grab it. Don't do nothing weird. Don't do nothing crazy. Just grab it and hold it for 10 seconds and see the extreme anxiety that hits their face. Some of y'all might think that they cheating. Some of y'all might think that they got DM issues, right? No. Oh, snap a camera. Every now and then I turn around and I just take a picture too, just sometimes. And then every now and then I want to see my body on Instagram and see how my body is, how my body's bodying. Oh Lord, somebody done send me a message. Got you got crack on your lips. Pause. But you got crack on your lips. Hitting that pipe. Every time, true story, my students, at least my high school students, my former high school students, every time they turn around and pick up their phone, I'm like, oh, crack pipe. Crack pipe. Somebody got the crack pipe. Oh, Lord. Put the crack down. And they'll be looking at me all crazy. Why are you saying the crack pipe? Oh, it's a crack pipe. It's a massive crack pipe. The only difference is that, as a matter of fact, sad part is some of them don't even shower. Some of them smell like onions, boy. These kids now, hygiene out the window. Because they too big. They ain't got time. They ain't got time to be off the phone. They gotta be, nope. They don't know nothing about soap. They don't know nothing about deodorant. They just smelling like outdoor. Got the whole hallway smelling like blimpies. For those of y'all who don't know what blimpies is, I'm telling my age. But got the whole hallway smelling like blimpies. Because y'all are not regulating your children. Because y'all are handing them these devices and then encouraging them to use it. Honestly, would you turn around and encourage your child to smoke crack? Would you encourage your child to snort cocaine? Would you encourage your child to do horrible things such as that? I sincerely hope you won't. Because if you are, I'm going to show you why also. So let's see where it goes right here. Chronic phone use can also cause other physical dysfunctions like GBA, a neurotransmitter in the brain dysfunction, and a loss of gray matter in the brain, which highly correlated to the substance use disorders. Notice the word substance use disorders. Substance use disorders is drug use. Anything that you're putting into your body that does not belong in there in high quantities to create a utopic effect that is not homeostasis is a substance use disorder. Research, chronic phone overuse is proven to change reward circuits in the brain chemically. One of the primary effective neurotransmitters is gamma aminobutyric acid, GABA. It's an inhibitory neurotransmitter that produces a calming or euphoric effect. Sound familiar? People who are familiar with drug use? It can even control fear and anxiety. The inhibitor plays a significant role in addiction by rewarding substance use and reinforcing addictive behaviors. Want to know why certain people can't stop eating? GABA. Research shows that chronic phone use can increase or decrease GBA production. Disturbances to the GABA system are proven to be a warning sign of addiction. In a study by the Radiological Society of North America, heavy phone use was linked to an upsetting ratio of GABA to the other neurotransmitters. When the team test subjects received cognitive behavioral therapy for the disorder, their brain chemistry reverted to a non-addicted ratio. Decrease in gray matter. Gray matter in the brain is connected to the part of the central nervous system responsible for enabling individuals to control movement, memory, and emotions. A recent study scanned participants' brains with a phone addiction and discovered a change in their brain's gray matter. So when your kids don't know nothing, when you ask them what's 2 plus 2, I don't know. When you see that they're losing IQ points, guess what? Cell phone. You see kids with high IQ levels, guess what? Chances are parents don't give them cell phones, especially not at an early age. According to the researchers, the physical shape and size of their brains resemble that of drug users. Starting to see the connection on why I said that you guys are the worst drug dealers? Starting to understand the point that I'm trying to make? I hope so, because there's more. Gray matter volume among people addicted to their phones diminished in critical areas, a condition similarly observed in people with a substance use disorder. This is the reason why your school district is trying to ban cell phones in the classroom, in the building, until it's time for you to go home. Smoke your crack at home. Don't smoke your crack in the building. That's what we're trying to tell y'all. Y'all want to smoke weed? Go right ahead. Do that on your time. Don't do that on company time. Don't do that on the time where we got to turn around and get work done. When I got to teach you stuff. When I'm trying to develop your ability to have empathy. When I'm trying to develop your ability to remember what's 2 plus 2. When I'm trying to develop your memory, your ability to understand what emotions are and not be sociopathic in your nature. When I'm trying to teach you how to move correctly, to be faster, to be quicker, to be stronger. These are the things that are hindering you. And then you wonder why these school districts are quickly ending the cell phone use. And some of y'all are trying to migrate to other schools that haven't caught on the policy yet, but I assure you, I got a news for you. I got a little bit of news for you. It's coming. If you ain't got it yet, wait for it. It's coming. Don't say Mr. Stoutt ain't tell you. So if you're running from the cell phone policy, run to your heart's content, but there's going to be a point in time where there's no place else for you to run but to your house. And that is the only place that they're going to they can't regulate it for your child to use their cell phone. And I'm going to tell you another thing. Good luck trying to teach your child at home and keeping them off their cell phone if you have conditioned them to do so. You think you have hell with them now? Take their cell phone and then make them do work and see how far you get. Deletion. I'm not going to go over this exactly, but self-deletion. It's important to note that there has been a rise in depression and self-deletion among teenagers in recent years correlated to phone addiction. Specifically, adolescent girls are particularly susceptible to the risk. According to the Centers for Disease Control, CDC, between 2010 and 15, the self-deletion rate rose by 65%. At the same time, the rate of severe depression among girls increased by 58%. Many researchers believe that the rise in self-deletion is a direct reflection of the negative effects of phone addiction. And it's not just phone addiction. I'm going to go one step further. It is the imagery that little girls are turning around and assimilating into their brains by associating the attention that other girls get by presenting themselves online with whether or not that they are valuable or not, and how they present themselves. And when they do that, they then expose themselves to the wrong people. They become adults and expose themselves to the wrong people. And then all of a sudden, their imagery, however tame or explicit it is, they then turn around and find out that a lot of people know more about them than they wanted other people to know. So, for instance, your daughter might have a boyfriend. She might feel the need to placate him in his desires to see her in the flesh. And in that process, then turn around and share photos with him. But then, whether innocent or malicious, those images get out. And now, your daughter now has to navigate through school the leering eyes, the smirks and the giggles, or the constant catcalling and harassment from both males and females, because you know this is 2024. And as a result, they can't deal with the pressure. They can't deal with the negative imagery that comes with it. And then they find themselves in situations where they want to self-harm. Studies have shown that when teen girls and other young people frequently use apps like Instagram, photographic representation of yourself, their self-esteem suffers, because the minute they don't get likes for their picture, especially when they've got a certain amount of people following them. So let's say they got 4,000 people following them, they only get 100 likes. That's painful in their mind. But what they don't understand is that the algorithm is designed to only give you 1 to 10% of your viewership at a time. Guys, I have 194 subscribers right now. And right now, I guarantee you I only have about 5 or 6 views right now. As a matter of fact, I'm at 3 currently as we are airing. That's a little over 1% of my subscription pool. That's the algorithm. Now, if more things start happening, like people are liking the video, people are subscribing, all of a sudden, now it'll turn around and rise up, and then all of a sudden people are drawing attention. I'm drawing attention to my channel, and then more people will watch. So then when I get 100,000 subscribers, then they'll just share with 1,000 people at a time. And then if it goes viral, you're sharing it, then all of a sudden a lot more people start watching. That's how the algorithm works. They're only going to give you 1%. If you go viral, it's because everybody's watching your stuff and they're sharing it profusely. It is literally like a virus. One person got it, they give it along to one other person, and that one other person gives it to another person, and then keeps going. All right? They know what they're doing when they tell you this stuff. This is likely due to the constant comparisons young people are making to the filtered and curated lives that are shared on social media, meaning it's not real. What you're dealing with, what you see when people are turning around and showing you their happy lives, and it's not happy. Sometimes it's not happy. Sometimes they're faking the funk, right? Signs and symptoms of phone addiction. I'm not going to read all of this. I'm just going to go into the symptoms. Lying about smartphone use. Loved ones expressing concern. Neglect or trouble completing duties at work, school, or home. More and more time using the phone. Checking people's profiles repeatedly due to anxiety. You want to see if everybody else is living a life without you. Accidents or injury due to phone use, meaning you got hit by a car because you were crossing the street while looking at your phone. You fell down a manhole. You tripped and snapped your ankle in half because you hit a pothole. You fell into cement. You tripped over a rock. Fell down a cliff. These are real. Checking people's profiles, let me see. Working later to complete tasks. Weak or non-existent social life. And they're not talking about social media. They're talking about going outside, talking to people, hanging out with friends. Fear of missing out, FOMO. Isolation from loved ones. You ain't talking to nobody. A feeling of lack of connection. Angry or irritated if phone use is interrupted. Remember I just said take your significant other's phone for 10 seconds, see what they do? Getting up at night to check a phone. Now, if I'm using the bathroom, if I woke up to use the bathroom and I happen to look at my phone, that's different. But I'm not going to turn around and literally wake up out of my sleep to go look at this phone. Reaching for the phone the moment they're alone or bored. Yeah, I'm guilty of that one. Phantom vibration. Steam the phone buzzes when it doesn't. Limiting phone use is difficult. Craving access to a smartphone or another device. So now we're going to go into dopamine because this is what it's about. Dopamine is a compound present in the body as a neurotransmitter and a precursor of other substances, including epinephrine. Okay? Dopamine addiction. They say dopamine, more precisely, addiction to dopamine is a myth. However, a person does not take dopamine like pills or food or alcohol. However, one develops dependence and later addiction to those activities that give the dopamine levels a boost, i.e. your cell phone. You keep picking it up, you put it down. You pick it up, you put it down. You pick it up, vibrates, ooh. You get a ooh. You get the I love it. Okay? So, one of the major things that as a teacher, as a fitness professional, there's a huge difference between putting on something to listen to and look at while you're training or while you're in the mode of work than to actually be completely and utterly distracted. And I'm going to tell you, I've been guilty of it at times. Even as a teacher, I've been guilty of it at times. But I do get my work done. And I don't stay late to do it. I just get my work done. All right? And I am going to get into the mode of landing this plane. Guys, in all seriousness, I understand you mean well, parents. I really do. I'm not sitting here basically telling you you're horrible people. I already just addressed the horrible people. Like I said, the ones that leave their kid rudderless. Those are the ones that are horrible people. As a parent, sometimes your child will be rudderless because they keep breaking the rudder off the boat. And you got to turn around and get in yours, get on their boat, put a rudder on it, and get them right. However, I'm talking about where you let them have a boat with no rudder and you just push them out to sea and let it do what it do. Those are the parents that are the worst. You parents that think that you're doing the right thing, you parents that are also addicted to your phone in the sense that you need constant communication with your child. I've seen it too many times. As a matter of fact, Sunny Hostin just admitted to it on The View just yesterday. When she turned around, her daughter is now in college, left her in her dorm room, went to the hotel, and texted her every single day since. Every hour, some texting and texting and texting, until her daughter turned around and said, "Mom, stop." Not because she's addicted to the cell phone, but she's addicted to the connection. And she doesn't know how to cut it off. You guys are just as addicted as your children, but in a much different way. And if you cannot admit to that, then need I say more? Oh my God, I want to know what my kids doing. We Gen Xers, who are the ones, and millennials or zillennials, who are now turning around and go, oh my God, I wonder what my kid is doing, are the very ones that complain about the fact that our generation was the ones that want to be left alone. We're the generation that went off, and our parents didn't even know didn't care where we went until the streetlights came on. At least some of our parents. But in that, a lot of us went around, rode our bikes all through the city, all through the town, all through the small town, wherever you live. Y'all rode your bikes, y'all skateboarded, y'all jumped ditches, y'all drank out of hoses, y'all drank out of the fire hydrant if you live in New York, or if you live in a city that did all of that back in the day. You did all of that. And guess what? You're fine. Why is it not good enough for your kids? Because they're different. They're only different because you made them different, not because they are different. You made them different. You trained them to be circus monkeys, to, at a moment of vibration, at a moment of a ding, at a moment of a phone call, they're to pick up that phone and answer it. If they don't, they got a problem. Do you want to create a drug addict? I don't think so. Do you want to push drugs onto your children? 98% of y'all, I'm sure, do not. But are you, in fact, giving your kids the worst drug ever? Technically, fentanyl is still the worst. Because if you touch it, you die. You literally touch it, you die. But that doesn't mean just because one is more extreme than the other, that the other one isn't killing your kids either. And it's time for us to recognize that and get off the pot when necessary. Not when you're watching me. All right? That's all I got for y'all today. So, if you made it this far, do me a favor, give me a like. If you have not subscribed yet, do so, because that way you get every bit of information that I put out. Have a nice day. Be the best you. Class is Stoutt.